Good evening, race fans, and welcome back to Season 9 of the Attrition Sim Race Campus Oval Series. Tonight, we are here in Las Vegas, Nevada, to settle the score for Season number 9. Tonight, we will be crowning a champion here at the Las Vegas Bullring, and right on back over there, you can see the Las Vegas Motor Speedway where NASCAR raced at in the real world just a couple of days ago. But tonight we are here at the short track, only 0.37 miles or zero point 0.6 kilometers in length. One of the smallest tracks that we have been to this season. And coming into tonight's event, only 6 points dividing our two championship contenders. That said, drivers making their way on down to the starting grid right about now. So, how about we head on down there and get a look at our starting grid for tonight's event? Starting out on the pole here tonight, it's going to be that number 99 dropping bombs racing entry of Tyler McRae. 5 wins to his name this season. He is rolling off in first place in tonight's race, currently second in the points championship, and the driver to his outside, that 145 of Mr. Travis Sukup, also for Dropping Bombs Racing, is our championship leader right now, only 6 points above Tyler McRae. So that is effectively a single finishing position dividing our two championship contenders here tonight, both starting up on the front row this evening. Back in third place, gonna go back to make that actually 4-time ASRC Oval Series champion, Mr. Brian Sabelski, rolling off in that Club West Racing number 85. Fortunately, Sabelski a little bit too far in the points standings tonight to contend for the championship, but he's still making an appearance, looking to try and get a race win to his name here tonight. And finally, back in P number 4, as Eric Gunn was unable to make it to the starting grid here tonight, Mr. Jason Gardner, league admin, in that number 93 Kmart Little Caesars entry, rounding out this 4-car field. Gonna be a little bit of a brawl to determine this championship here tonight, and green flag up in the air. 100 laps is the distance here tonight at the Bullring. McRae off to a pretty solid lead, which is not all that surprising, especially at a track as tiny as this. Starting on the inside line is the place to be, but Sukup is keeping up with him, and he is keeping the pressure put on that number 99 machine. In practice, there was only about 15 hundredths of a second dividing these two drivers' lap times, and in qualifying, the story pretty much the same. Lap times about a little bit under a tenth of a second of a difference between Sukup and McRae. Both of these street stock drivers know how to get it done at these short tracks, and it's no different here this evening. Currently less than 0.2 of a second between these two drivers, and Brian Sabelski is here in the mix as well. That 85 machine is very much in this battle for the lead as well. Jason Gardner falling back just a little bit, but we've got a long race to go, and I imagine it's going to be a race of all green flag running, so tire conservation is going to be very important here at this narrow short track here tonight. Second time that ASRC has ever come to this speedway. First time was back on Halloween evening, and Tyler McRae took the win here at the Bullring. Of course, that was not in the street stock. That was back in the late model. So, little bit of a difference in the cars that these drivers are using here tonight. But speaking of the late model, those of you who are active on the iRacing.com platform, I'm sure you've heard all about it. After probably a good 8 years or so, the late model is getting a complete overhaul in tomorrow's update. The original late model, the Chevrolet Monte Carlo SS, getting axed from the game entirely. and everyone who owned it getting instead getting the new updated late model. So far, no one knows how it drives, nobody knows how it handles. It's all one big mystery. But considering how popular the original late model was for these last 2 seasons, the vote has been decided that for Season 10 of the ASRC Oval Series, we will be switching to that brand new late model. Definitely should be pretty exciting to see, and considering that McRae and Sukup were both contending for the championship in the late model as well, and both of them have wins to their names in the late models, both in ASRC and in other leagues that are broadcasted on my channel, I imagine they're both are going to be pretty happy about that news as well. But before we get ahead of ourselves and start getting ourselves excited for season number 10, we still got to crown ourselves a champion for season number 9. Tyrell McRae and Travis Sukup, both drivers that have won every single race this season. Sukup, 6 wins to his name. He got a win at Stafford back in round 2, USA International Speedway for round number 3, 5 flags for round 4, and Myrtle Beach for round 5. So he had a bit of a win streak going. Then a little bit of a gap. Took home the checkered flag at the Irwindale Speedway back for round number 7. And finally, last weekend, took home the win at the Concord Speedway, and that is what allowed him to get back up to the top of the championship standings, currently tying the record for most wins in a single Oval Series season. So that begs the question here tonight, not only would a race win pretty much decide the championship here tonight between McRae and Sukup, but it also is the difference of if Sukup manages to set a new record for race wins here in ASRC, or if Tyler McRae is going to tie it with him and have a 2-way tie for the win record in a single season. McRae, of course, 5 wins to the name. Every race that Sukup did not win, McRae did. McRae took home the season opener back at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. Then he had a little bit of a gap all the way down to round number 6, where he took home his 2nd win at the Thompson Speedway. Then round 8 at Southern National, round 9 at South Boston, and round number 10 at the North Wilkesboro Speedway. Looking here this evening to try and make it win number 6 of season 9. That's not to count out the rest of the drivers here in the field, though. Brian Sabelski, he is, after all said and done, a 4-time champion in the ASRC Oval Series. And while he's not in contention to make it number 5 here this evening, he is still battling to try and get another race win to his name here this evening. Not a whole lot of luck here for them this season. Best finish was a 2nd place back in round number 10 at the North Wilkesboro Speedway. He's going to be trying to make it win number 1 here for him this season. Just a matter of how these street stock drivers manage to hold on to their tires for these next, call it about 76 laps around this Las Vegas Bullring. Built all the way back in 1985, and of course, speaking of late models, this track pretty much known for its pro late model racing. They have been known to hold weekly late model races for the large majority of every year, and of course all the other local short track classes you would expect tend to come out here as well. So it's like I always say, if a short track exists, there more than likely has been a street stock race at it. Of course, street stock's more or less the most common form of racing here in North America, just because it's so relatively easy to get into, and every single different track seems to have their own different rules on what constitutes a street stock. Hundreds of different names for the actual divisions, but the spirit of it is pretty much all the same. And of course next season switching to the late model, so this will be the last time we see the street stocks here in the ASRC Oval Series, at least for the time being. Of course, I can't really speak too far ahead of myself, but you never know what Season 11 might bring either. It said, as we cross the line here, heading on to lap number 30, Tyler McRae has held on to the lead of every single lap here this race. And as such, he has closed the distance on Travis Sukup just a little bit. Now, the win alone won't quite be enough here tonight, because the difference between a first place finish and a second place finish is 5 points. And there's a 6-point deficit between Sukup and McRae, so the math doesn't exactly check out there. But there are bonus points awarded for having an incident-free race, so if either one of these drivers even so much as scrapes against the outside wall and picks up a 1x incident point, they could see the loss of those bonus points, and that could be the deciding factor in this championship. Of course, you can pick up penalty points as well if you manage to pick up 13 incident points, but I don't think it is really possible for these 4 street stock drivers to pick up that many incident points without intentionally trying to do it. The 4 of these drivers are just too good at what they do, and there's not enough cars on the track to really mess any of them up and get any of them out of their groove. So I don't think penalty points are going to be much of an issue. I don't actually believe penalty points has been issued to a single driver throughout the past 12 weeks of Season 9. I don't think that anyone has actually managed to accumulate 13 incident points in a single race. That said, Sukup is starting to close the gap on our race leader. He had fallen back to about half a second here, and now he's caught all the way back up to about 0.3 of a second, closing it down to a little bit under 0.2 as we come down the backstretch. Whether Sukup managed to find something that's giving him a little bit of an extra speed here, or if McRae is starting to put on the parachute and try and go into tire conservation mode, remains to be seen. But we've crossed the line to be a third of the way in the race and already making the way on down to being halfway into tonight's event. So these laps are ticking by incredibly quickly, especially, I mean, under green flag conditions. We are setting roughly 16-second lap times here. That is a little bit under 4 laps a minute. So not a lot of time for these drivers to contend with. And Sukup, McRae, they may be teammates, they may run together, they may practice together, they may tune their cars together, but tonight these 2 drivers are battling for all the marbles this evening. And Travis Sukup is going to make the pass for the lead. Will he have the momentum to hold on to it down on the low line, getting down a bit on the apron there, side by side for the race lead? Tyler McRae pushes up high a little bit, coming out of turn number 2. And just like that, Travis Sukup is our new race leader, but McRae's going to go for the crossover. McRae's now on the inside. McRae going to take that lead back in the number 99. Little bit of a nudge there between the 2 of them, another bit of a nudge. And now Sukup's doing the crossover again as well. These 2 street stock drivers are ready to throw everything that they have at each other to take home this championship this evening. 44 laps in the books, and now Sukup is back in control of this one, but for how long is that going to last? McRae is going to be scored as the leader across the line there, but these 2 cars running side by side is going to allow Sabelski to make up a little bit of ground. And McRae drives it down low. Is he going to try the crossover again? Yes, he is. McRae down on the low line of the number 145 again. And Zabelski is creeping closer back there, getting just a little bit closer with every single lap as these two continue to duke it out. But just like that, McRae back in control of the lead. Sukup's going to need a little bit of time to prepare to set up another pass like that. Narrowing down on the halfway point here for our race leaders. Top three all within 0.6 of a second of each other. And then Jason Gardner falling back just a bit. He's about 10 seconds back from the rest of the field. And that could mean that we might end up seeing him lapped here in the next couple of minutes. You see him heading down the front stretch there in that purple and red Kmart Little Caesars entry. What a battle going on here for the championship win, though. Both these drivers have been really similar to each other in pace all season, and I mean, there's a reason that they currently have divided the season in half in terms of wins. Neither driver's going to make it easy for one another, and all of that dropping bombs teammate camaraderie is going to be going out the window. These two drivers are out for themselves to try and take home the title as champion of the Attrition Sim Race Campus Oval Series, at least for season number 9. But as we cross the halfway point, let's take a ride on board with one of our drivers, get a bit of a look down and see what all they are experiencing down there on the speedway. Gonna be riding on board with that number 85 of Brian Sabelski and seeing what he is seeing in this battle for the lead. You can hear just how much those tires are squealing on that number 85 machine. I'd imagine the story is not all that different for our race leaders here this evening. The Bullring is a notorious track, and the yellow flag is out. Jason Gardner's around. What have we done to bring out a caution here at the Las Vegas Bullring? I don't think that was in anyone's bingo cards here this evening, race fans. Looking a little bit banged up for that number 93 machine. See if we can't take a look back and see what exactly went down there. Jason Gardner heading down into turns 1 and 2. A little bit loose, but looking fine for the most part. And a little bit loose out the corner. He tries to hold on to it, and the car goes around, and that's a bit of a rough impact with the outside wall there. Now the question is, did the yellow flag come out before Tyler McRae passed the number 93? Because if that's the case, then Jason Gardner will still be on the lead lap. Very big what if though here. Taking one last look back at that. Just a little bit loose through the corner, enough to get that car up and around. He tries to hold on to it, and Bam, straight into the outside wall. So that will bring out our first caution of the evening. And looking at that, everyone is down on pit lane. McRae and Sukup going to be the first ones off. Then that's going to leave Sabelski and Gardner down there on pit lane. Looking like 2 tires is going to be the call for McRae and Sukup. Sabelski and Gardner both going to elect to go with 4. Looks like Jason's still stuck down on pit lane. He might be having to get some damage fixed from that impact. iRacing.com pace car is off, so Gardner's stuck down on pit lane. He's going to end up going a lap down from that incident. Green flag up in the air. Tyler McRae leads the way down into turn number 1. Now it's going to be the question of, will the 4-tire stop be the strategy that carries Brian Sabelski to the end of tonight's event? McRae and Sukup both on 2 tires. Sabelski on 4. No positions changed down on pit lane. The question just will be, who will make their strategies work the best, because that means none of these drivers have any spare sets of tires down on pit lane anymore. And now Jason Gardner heading back out on the speedway as well in that number 93 machine. He's going to be scored 3 laps down, but he is still running in this championship event here tonight. Top 3 drivers all within, call it about 0.8 of a second of each other. Brian Sabelski having a little bit of trouble. He fell back just a bit. And just like that, Travis Sukup just set a new fastest lap of the race. Travis Sukup just set the first lap below a 16-second lap time with a 15.98, which is roughly what Tyler McRae set in qualifying. So it looks like those 2 new tires doing Sukup some favors, but now can he make up the deficit and catch back up to his teammate and battle for the win here? 65 laps in the books. Going to be 34 left to go here tonight. And looking at that time and scoring, it does look like he is slowly but surely making those spots back. Or better, I should say, he's making the time back. The gap between these 2 drivers is narrowing, but will it be enough in these 33 laps? And once again, Travis Sukup, fastest lap of the race, still a 15.98, but a couple of thousandths of seconds faster than before. An extremely marginal amount, but a new fastest lap nonetheless. But he isn't really narrowing the gap anymore between himself and McRae. Still sitting at about 3/4 of a second between these 2 drivers. Going across the line to lap number 70 though, the clock is ticking. Sukup has to make up this ground if he wants to be able to take home the championship. And I believe that both of these drivers might have incident points to their names. We will have to get official confirmation from that before we can make a definitive call. But I believe both of them have picked up incident points from just making door contact with each other during that little battle they had going on earlier in tonight's event. So that could be a very major deciding factor in the championship with how narrow the points are. Like I said, of course, 5 points of difference between first place and second place. And McRae, coming into tonight's event, 6 points back from Travis Sukup. So of course, if the race ended with the positions here they were right now, Sukup would still be the champion by a single point, and that's why we have to look so hard at these drivers' incidents and see what bonus points that they are going to be picking up, if anything. "25 laps left to go here in Season 9 of the Attrition Sim Race Campus Oval Series. This is not just 25 to go in tonight's race. This is 25 to go for an entire season of racing for these drivers. And of course, once all is said and done here tonight, in a couple of weeks, season number 10 will be kicking off, featuring that brand new late model. Taking out the zoom out camera though, you can see how far spread out most of the field is. Jason Gardner and Brian Sabelski little bit of a ways back. Sabelski back there in that number 85 heading down into turns 1 and 2, about 4 seconds back from our race leaders. Looking at the lap times last time by, as he crosses the line here, he was about 0.15 seconds slower than our race leaders. And of course, we're talking about fractions of a second here, but that adds up over the course of a race. And with 20 laps to go, he's got his work cut out for him if he wants to catch back up to these race leaders. Of course, as always though, Sabelski will be streaming his perspective of tonight's event at twitch.tv/NihonTiger, as he does with pretty much every single race he does on iRacing. So as always, if you want to watch the onboard perspective and get some insight on one of the drivers here in the ASRC Oval Series, definitely be sure to go and check out twitch.tv/NihonTiger for the onboard view of the number 85 of Brian Sabelski. Tyler McRae still in control of this one. He's led almost every single lap here tonight, and he's still holding on to lead of tonight's event. Not a whole lot to look at in terms of the pit strategy here this evening. Everyone came down to pit under that caution on lap number 59. That much is an absolute no-brainer. But take a look at the difference in pit stop times. You can see how much of a difference that the 2-tire versus 4-tire strategy can be. Of course, McRae and Sukup opted just for right sides, and Sabelski took all 4, and then Gardner was stuck down there for a whole 94 seconds because he had to get a little bit of that damage repaired from that first incident. And thankfully, under that caution, not going to negatively affect any of these drivers for how long they spend down on pit lane. But with 13 laps left to go, Travis Sukup has pushed the go button on the 145. He is narrowing the gap on the race leader. But with 12 laps to go, is it going to be too little too late? He is going to have to push that 145 machine with everything it's got inside of it if he wants to take home the win here tonight. If he wants to break the record for the most wins in the ASRC Oval Series. If not, the record will be shared between him and Tyler McRae this season, with both drivers being at 6 wins. But the potential is there for Sukup to pick up 7. And Jason Gardner, bit of a hard scrape against the outside wall there, getting his car upset just a little bit. He's still got it rolling though, but you can see the damage on the outside of that number 93. Definitely not doing that street stock any favors, but you know what? It's the last race of the season. Even if you are in a pretty unfavorable situation here, you might as well head out on the track and enjoy the final ASRC race running the street stock for the foreseeable future. 7 laps left to go. Tyler McRae still our race leader. Sukup half a second behind. Call it about 3 car lengths between these two street stock drivers. Sukup having a little bit of trouble coming out of turn number 4. He's going to lose a little bit of ground. 6 laps left to go. It's going to take a little bit of a miracle for him to catch up to McRae. I don't think he's got the tires he needs to make it happen. Big high five up in the air. 5 more times around the speedway here tonight to declare our champion of the ASRC Oval Series. It just comes down to McRae and Sukup and how Sukup can make these next 4 laps go. Half a second between himself and McRae. But of course, as always, it's the ASRC Oval Series. You never know what might happen in these next 3 laps. We have seen stranger things happen. 2 to go as we cross the line here. 8 more corners for Tyler McRae to take home his 6th win of the season and tie the record with Travis Sukup. White flag up in the air, and it's looking like it is gonna be a win for Tyler McRae. And sure enough, coming out of turn number 4, Tyler McRae gonna take home the win here at the Las Vegas Bullring. And I'm still hesitant to declare a champion quite yet because, I mean, it all is going to come down to the bonus points. Who picked up the bonus points that they need to be the champion here? Because right now it can still pretty much be anyone's game. Getting a little bit of a double burnout from the 2 dropping bombs racing drivers. These 2 drivers, Travis Sukup, Tyler McRae, only one is a champion, but both of them are winners in their hearts. 6 wins each. These 2 drivers completely dominated the entirety of the racing season here this season. And now we're going to have to head on down to the track and get a bit of a word with these 2 drivers. Don't go anywhere, race fans. We will be right back. Alrighty, race fans, welcome back to the Las Vegas Bullring. Tyler McRae taking home his sixth win of the season, tying Travis Sukup for wins this season. And I'm not entirely certain on this, but if my math is correct, you two are also both tied for points right now. We want to just start this one over, have a little bit of drag race or something, because oh boy, what a season between the two of you that y'all have just. It has been a crazy season and a crazy final race here tonight. How are you feeling now that everything's said and done here tonight, Tyler?
That son of a gun. That's typical. We get in the rooms and he'll be in there 10 minutes before me, and I come in and 2 minutes we're running the exact same lap, different setups or fixed setups. It doesn't matter. I don't know how we always run so close together. It's fitting that we would tie for the points. I shouldn't have got a. I was saving tires before that caution came out, and I probably shouldn't have as much. And that's how we got the lead that lap. That probably would gave us the tie.
Yeah, it was quite the race, and I'll tell you what, for a four-car event, I didn't expect it to be as close as it was, but I don't know why I was surprised, because the last race at the Bullring, also a four-car event, and also equally as close of a finish. And of course, last time at the Bullring, you also were the one who took home the checkered flag there, so I guess we have come full circle here tonight. But what a season. I don't even know where to begin on how everything has played out, but it has been a great time. And I'm so proud of everything that all of the drivers have managed to accomplish this season.
Yeah, it was pretty fun running with everybody. On me and Mike though, we were going back and forth pretty hard. I came over on the radio. I said, "Hey, you want Brian to win this race or what?" Sucker hit me in the middle of the straightaway, and then he folded like a lawn chair after I passed him the last time.
I would not have minded winning the race.
It could have been anyone's game. I mean, you all were within roughly a second for most of this race. There was a little bit of fall off near the end, but otherwise, like, it could have been anyone in the top three that take home the checkered flag here tonight.
And poor Jason, he was running really good in practice. I'm not sure what happened in the race. I thought we were going to have a tight race. Just four of us would have been fun.
Yeah, looks like there was a little bit of an oopsie, but that's what happens in short track racing. Mistakes are bound to be made, and if nothing else, it made the pit strategy really easy for y'all.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm interested to see the official results. I had a feeling. I thought I had him beat. Maybe it was that because I guess you say you can get 40 points. I got 40 points. I did everything. I got zero. I led every lap. Yeah, I led a lap, led the most laps. I don't know what other bonus points there are. But that's crazy. So I guess he got 34 points and I got 40 points.
Yeah,
Funny.
I'll have to talk it out with Jason just to double check because I'm not 100% certain on my math here, but I think that y'all did tie. But I guess
Tiebreaker.
Nah,
we're
that's good.
we're at the point where I gotta say, the microphone's all yours, Mr. McRae. Who do you want to thank for getting that number 99 up here in victory lane?
No, thank y'all all year for putting this on. We wish there'd be some more competitors come out. We did change it to the fixed setup, try to help that. I believe we're going to a different car next season. Maybe that might spark more interest. Um, Maybe we can have a few rules like the winner. If he wins one race, he has to start second. If he wins two races in a row, the furthest up he could start the next week is third if he qualifies. Maybe we can do something like that to make it a little interesting. But the league puts on a fun time, and um, they don't put up a lot of BS, and I like that. And me and the guys running with all year, they're a lot of fun. Rewatching the races that you put on the broadcast, and DVR guys. I mean, we Mike asked me a question at night. I told him I ain't helping him. That's probably the only time I've ever told him that. Um, but it was because he didn't need help. I was just pulling his leg a little bit, just hopefully make him nervous.
Well, everything said and done here tonight, it seemed to have worked out for you. And if nothing else, you two get to share having tied the record for most wins in a single season. So both of y'all got that going for you.
Yeah, the way it looks, we unofficially get to share the championship. I guess we got to hold hands later.
I guess you do.
All right, I appreciate you. Have a good night.
Yes, sir, you too. And of course, heading back to the other DBR driver in question, Mr. Travis Sukup. By far your most wins in a single season. What a heck of a run it has been. How are you feeling now that you've got all of this crazy season and all of this crazy race under your belt looking back at it?
Pretty good, pretty good. I was really hoping to try to catch back up to him because we were definitely going to be pushing and shoving. We both, well, we always want to win, so we were trying our best.
Yeah, y'all both put on a heck of a run here tonight, and you were still really in contention for taking home the win here tonight. What do you think you might have had to have done different to get around Tyler in those final couple laps?
Oh, I couldn't catch him. He had this track pretty much figured out. The only reason I called him in the beginning is he was kind of saving tires, and I figured, well, if he's saving, I'm going to try to get him. And I know Brian was coming there because he was saving them too, so I was probably in trouble if it went green anyway.
Yeah, fair enough. Sometimes it all comes down to that little bit of strategy. Of course, next season, gonna be busting out that brand new late model. Are you excited about the prospect of trying out a completely new car for everyone in the league next season?
I personally really like the old ones. I hate to see it change. To be honest with you, we're running another league, um, which ran those, and it was a pretty good car. So I don't know what they're going to do with them.
Yeah, but either way, I'm excited to see how it turns out. I agree. I'm sad that they're straight up completely removing the old one instead of just moving it to legacy content, but I guess that's why they don't let me be an iRacing developer. But for now, the microphone's all yours, Mr. Sukup. Who do you want to thank you for getting up here on the podium here tonight and getting, if not the championship, again, I'm not entirely certain on that one, so I'm not going to call it either way, but at least on the podium for the championship here this evening?
I have to say it's going to have to be Tyler. I was a cat out of water. I couldn't figure that one out at all. But he actually let me follow him in practice and help me get going because I was definitely the slowest until I followed him and kind of got a little bit of an idea.
Well, it sounds like it all worked out. And of course, a big congratulations to you and Tyler and everyone at DBR for having a heck of a season this season. And a big thank y'all to coming out here pretty much every single race for the past 3 months.
All right, thanks for having us, man. We appreciate it.
Yes, sir. And finishing on back in P number 3 here tonight, Mr. Brian Sabelski, another podium to your name. What a wild season it has been. How are you feeling looking back on everything?
Yeah, well, all things considered, I'm probably gonna end up third in points. It's been a long season. It's been tough. Haven't been up front as much as I had hoped, but at the same time, also, it's been pretty good. Kind of stayed out of trouble most of the season, so I don't have a whole lot to complain about. But yeah, other than that, just a hard season. But sometimes you learn a little thing here and there, and you just gotta keep on working at it.
Yep, there's always a good thing to learn from pretty much every single race you do, no matter where you finish.
Yep.
And guess what? In 2 weeks, we get to throw all of that out the window with a brand new car. How you feeling about that?
Looking forward to it. Really looking forward to getting to dig into this new upgraded late model. Get to see how the modern version works. I'm going to be doing a lot of. This week's going to be a week of like learning lots of stuff and figuring out all these new things because I gotta pull another front wheel drive car out and figure out how this Clio Cup's going to drive. The late model. I have to do some practice for another league, running the Cup car at Rockingham. So that ought to be a hoot, especially after how tonight went. God, I hope we can get through that with like way less cautions. But yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how this all kind of shakes out, and I'm hopeful that I can kind of figure out how to drive this pretty well. Maybe try and do the best I can next season. We'll keep working at it. So I don't really have much else to say about that, but kind of wish more people were out here tonight just because the Bullring is such a good track for driving. We've had 2 great races here, fairly small fields. So I'm kind of thinking, man, if we could just get more people out here, we'd have some good racing back and forth throughout the whole field.
Yeah, I definitely agree. The Bullring has its name for a reason. It is quite the crazy track, and it puts on some pretty good shows as we've seen here tonight. But sometimes it's like, you gotta take a moment to sit and appreciate the fact that you have been racing in the Oval Series since its inception. Start next week, it will be the beginning of 10 seasons here in the Oval Series, and who knows how many seasons you were competing in the Road Series before then. So you've
Quite
got
a
a
few.
lot of history here, and
Yeah,
it sounds like you're going to be setting even more history in the next couple of weeks.
that's the plan. I don't plan to disappear at any point, so it's just gonna keep on going here. I think I have second most race starts, and believe I have getting closer to getting to Johnny's total laps and total miles record, I think.
Yeah, you're definitely getting there, and just goes to show what perseverance can do. But of course, I know you have a lot of practice and a lot of racing you got to get done here in the next couple of days, so I won't keep you up all night. But for
You're
now,
fine.
who do you want to thank for getting that number 85 up here into another podium tonight?
Well, thanks everyone hanging out here at Twitch, my Twitch channel. There's a bunch of people hanging out here. It's great to have you. It's great to have all of y'all here for all of the fun. Even the times when it's not quite as fun as I hoped. Not referring to this race, the one before it. But yeah, thank folks at Maconi Setup Shop as always for doing a great amount of work on setups and all of the stuff. They do have a short track program that you can take part in. The subscription thing, but you can take part in it, and they have like coaching and things like that. So very interesting. I am not a coach, so I will defer to the people who are higher I-rated people at me that run this late model all the time. So, but yeah, they do a great job. I know they have a race tomorrow night. That's a free and open race to anyone who's got the late model. If you want to take part in it, I want to say it's at 6. I might run it. I'm not certain on that yet. I don't quite know how it fits in my schedule. So we'll see. But yeah. Thank the folks at Fanatec for building sturdy gear for me to thrash my car about, and trying to think and of course Jason for doing all the hard work getting the league admitting and putting everything together and figuring all of this stuff out for us to run. So looking forward to next season as always.
Good deal. Well, as always, I got to give you a big thank you for coming out, not only this season, but for the past 9 seasons. That's nearly 3 years now. And here's to season number 10.
Looking forward to it.
Sounds like a plan. I will see you there then. You have a good rest of your evening.
Indeed. See you then.
Alrighty, race fans, you heard it here first. Top 3 finishers here tonight at the Las Vegas Bullring. Of course, as always, I'll pull up our official race results here tonight. There's not a whole lot to look at. You know pretty much how it finished. McRae, Sukup, Sabelski, Gardner, the top 4 drivers here tonight. Eric Gunn signed up, turned a lap or 2 in practice, and decided he wasn't quite feeling it here tonight. But that is still quite the race that we had here this evening. Quite a season it has been for season number 9 of the ASRC Oval Series. And of course, in a couple weeks, we'll be coming right on back with season number 10, same day, same time, Monday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern. But for now, that's all we've got for y'all here tonight from the Las Vegas Bullring. All we've got here tonight from Attrition Sim Race Campus. And from everyone here at the league and from me up here in the broadcast booth, a big thank you to all of y'all out who have been tuning into all of these races and supporting the league. And like I said, not 100% certain on the championship standings. Going to wait for an official decision on that, and then I will be sure to post the official results probably on my Twitter, and hopefully also it will be posted on the ASRC Twitter, and I'll probably also put them in the description of the YouTube video once this gets posted onto the YouTube archive channel. But for now, thank you all for coming out, race fans. Thank you for tuning in to the race here at the Las Vegas Bullring. Thank you for tuning in to Attrition Sim Race Campus Oval Series Season 9. And we will see y'all in season number 10 with a brand new race car. Have a good evening, race fans.